Shalom. This will be part two, continuing on from the last video. Salaki for that. It's Satan messing with me. Couple things going on right now that I had to tend to, and when my phone go blank, then the video cut out. So Salaki for that. But just continuing on here where we left off in Psalm 7 and 1. So we was talking about Esau and the digital economy. The Most High will deliver us from this persecution to come. And they're going to be instituting that digital economy, and we're going to be delivered out of that in that hour of temptation. You know, we will be provided for. So, Salaki, just kind of got Satan's trying to, try to make these lessons and then, get flowing. And then the serpent, Satan, tries to bring distractions your way to mess you up. But this word will go out, Lord willing, by Hashem Yahushai. So right here in verse 2, it says, lest he tear my soul like a lion, rending it in pieces, while there is none to deliver. Because if not, our enemies are going to destroy us if the Most High don't deliver us through this whole time, leading up to our enemies' downfall. And then the United Nations, that's our chief enemies, headed by Esau Edom, the so-called white man, because that's Psalms 83 and verses 3 through 5, the confederacy of all the heathen nations to conspire to keep us hid and to keep us destroyed and not knowing who we are. But through the power and spirit of Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, through his Holy Spirit, moving through the earth, awakening the elect in a great calling, it's a miraculous thing that's occurring, because the so-called white man, if it was up to him, if it was solely in his power, we would still be spiritually dead in the valley of dry bones. So from there, verse 3, O Lord Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, my power, if I have done this, if there be iniquity in my hands. Verse 4, if I have rewarded evil unto him that was at peace with me, meaning if he wronged some man, if he wronged men for no reason, when they were, because the scriptures say, if at all possible, be at peace with all men. And that's like in Romans 12 and 10, I think, or 12 and 18, or 18 and 10, somewhere around there. So you don't commit sin, you don't commit crimes and murder against people that's at peace with you. So David is saying, if he's done that, So verse 3, O Yahweh, my power, if I have done this, if there be iniquity in my hands, if I have rewarded evil unto him that was at peace with me, I have delivered him that without cause is mine enemy. So meaning that he's doing this to people that's at peace and they're not his enemies. Verse 5, let the enemy persecute my soul and take it. Let him tread down my life upon the earth and lay mine honor in the dust. Selah. So we know that means that he will have no honor if he's destroyed men that was at peace with him. So if he's destroyed men and committed wickedness against men at peace with him, then let them return the favor and destroy him, and let his integrity and his pure spirit, and mind and conscience be disgraced and be nothing. So we know with that. So when you look at that understanding, we know that the so-called white man, that's what he has done. He's destroyed everybody that has nothing, that has never wronged him and was at peace with him. He go in and act like he's friends with them, and then next thing you know, he create a narrative, and then that nation ends up getting destroyed and mollywop and just straight out just annihilated and mass slaughter. If you can think about what's happening right now over there in the Middle East, you can kind of put that together and see what that is, right? and see who does that. And so right here, Psalms 55:20, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. So David was saying, if I've done that, then let them destroy me for that. Verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. And we know that the so-called white man, he talks with this very soft voice. It's very calm. It's very slick. And everyone is under that spell of his they believe his soft words and not his hard, rough actions. And then when you speak about it, they quickly defend him and persecute you for calling him out just because he's a soft-spoken person. But his spirit is the exact opposite of those words. If people truly understood how ferocious and demonic this man's spirit and his thoughts and his actions is, you know. Verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Because he talks great, talks love and it make people feel good. But then his whole time he's doing that to put people to lull people to sleep, and then end up destroying them. But war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So that's what David basically was saying. So with that same understanding, that's what we know through that understanding. That's what's going to have to happen to the so-called white race, the so-called white man, Esau, because that's all he ever does, right? He destroys them. He rewards evil for people that's at peace with him and that's treating him well, like the Native American Indians, so-called, and so-called Latinos and so-called Hispanics. That's the Northern Kingdom. They made all these peace treaties with the Pilgrims, the Edomites. And then what they do in return, they talked that their words were smoother than oil and softer than butter. But then what did he do? Smoother than butter, softer than oil, and then boom, gave them all of these disease-ridden blankets and quilts, which killed off a great number off that. And that's when they began that war and killed off all of their buffalo and bison. There's like a mountain of dead bison skulls or buffalo skulls, one of the two. That it was one of Edomites standing on top of a mountain of dead skeleton skulls. Because that was they was killing off the natives off the Northern Kingdom's food supply. That was another way that they were waging war, killing them through starving them out. So they did all that, and for what? They were at peace. The natives were the Northern Kingdom. They were at peace with the Pilgrims, the Edomites, but then they destroyed them. So we know that that's going to come back upon them, because that's a very evil thing to destroy people that were at peace with you. So we would definitely see the end of Babylon. They say forget about the past, who's in the past, and they didn't do that, and their ancestors. Well, there's a bill that has to be paid. It passes down from generation to generation. Just like they inherited that generational wealth, they've inherited those generational sins. They don't say anything about that generational wealth, and they brag about that, and they real proud and lifted up about the monies that they have through generational, riches, right? And that's all through, and that wealth was all gotten. It was all ill-gotten and through injurious deeds. It's not me who said it's the Most High that says this, right? But just we know in life, you can't go around knocking people out and then thinking that nothing, and then telling everybody to forgive you and thinking that nothing is going to come from it. Eventually, you're going to get knocked out as well. It's just called what, quote unquote, karma. Let's see. From there, we'll go to, let's read verse 6. Arise, O Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in thine anger, because the Most High is angry with this madness. Lift up thyself because of the rage of mine enemies, and our enemies have been raging against us. And the Most High is going to return it upon their heads for their unlawful actions, unprovoked actions, and awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. So the Most High has commanded all of, proper. The wages of sin is death, and this is a part of them sinning, destroying us for no reason. But we know that it was because we sinned against the Lord, but they, will have to pay for those actions. So right here, verse 7, so shall the congregation of the people compass thee about. For their sakes, therefore, return thou on high. So shall the congregation of the people compass thee about. For their sakes, therefore, return thou on high. So, for the elect's sake, and ultimately all Israel, we need the Most High to return back on a high, being our power again. Because Esau is trying to devour us whole and destroy us from off the face of the earth. Verse 8, the Lord Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord Yahweh, according to my righteousness and according to mine integrity that is in me. Because the elect, they will be found no guile, like Yahweh Shai had no guile in his mouth. There was no deceit, and the purity of their faith and their faith and trust in the Most High, and then rehearsing the righteous acts. So we will be judged. The hopeful elect will be judged according to that and be blessed with that deliverance and that salvation. Verse 9, O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous power Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, trieth the hearts and reins. So we know that the wicked will come to an end. And the just, that's the elect of Israel, they will be delivered. Verse 10, my defense is of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which saveth the upright in heart. Verse 11, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is angry with the wicked every day. So, though a man sin over and over, and the judgment has not gone out, know for certainty that that day of judgment will come. And the Most High is angry every day. They say the law is done away with. Well, wickedness is sin, and what sin is breaking the law. So the Most High is angry with Christianity and every false religion that blaspheme his words and his laws, saying that they're done away with. It's pure foolishness and madness. They honor the carnal laws of man, but the spiritual laws of the Most High they disregard and say it's done away with. When that which is spiritual is far greater than the carnal. They're wicked and they're blasphemous and profane, and the Lord is angry with them every day, and have them reserved for the day of judgment. Verse 12, if he turn not, he will whet his sword. That wet means sharpening. And the sharpening of that sword now is creating those thermonuclear missiles. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. That bow is that silo, because that's the instrument. Like the quiver is what hold the arrows. On your back. The archer pulls out the arrows from it. He reaches around from the back around his back and pull out those arrows, and that's a quiver that holds those arrows. But the thermonuclear missile arrows are held in silos. So that's the Most High made those ready. They're in the silos, and they're going to be shot out of a cannon into the ends of the earth from Russia and its allies over here to America. He bent his bow and made it ready. That's if you can receive that and understand it. This is the part of the dark sayings of the Holy Scriptures. Not everyone can can receive that. But the 1/3, not every, it's different lots, different levels in the 1/3. Not everyone will get the you know the deepest intricate you know understandings, but as long as you have the faith and rehearsing the righteous acts, that's what's going to get you delivered. So Isaiah 35:34 and verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. That's not a literal sword that you slice and dice with, right? You can't throw a sword that high in the heavens. That's talking about the thermonuclear missiles. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. And the heaven is the skies above, where the sun and moon is at. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Idumea is the Greek translation for Edom. And upon the people of my curse, because they are the only nation on earth, the so-called white race, that don't have melanin, because that was that curse. They got stripped of their melanin from Cain, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. When you look around, there's a particular nation that the Most High is talking about. That's talking about the so-called white race. It's easy to put it together, but yeah, that's what that's going into in Psalm 7 and 12. So if he turn not, he will wet his sword. So if you word it like that, say if he turn, he will wet his sword. No, if he turn not, so he's not going to turn. But if he turn, he won't wet his sword. But the Most High, he hath this ordained, so it will of a certainty come to pass. The Most High will not turn away from doing this. He bent his bow. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. Verse 13. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. That's those thermonuclear missiles. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. So these thermonuclear missiles is not against the Israelites, but yeah, the 2/3 unfortunately will, because they've been wicked. But it's for our persecutors or our enemies, the heathens. Verse 14. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity, and hath conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. They're promoting all of this technology as positive for mankind, like the digital device that go into your hand to buy and sell, and these AI robots, because they pumping in like trillions of dollars to the military budget every year, like $1.52 trillion every year for the military budget, and a great portion of that goes into weaponizing the AI technology and turning them to robots. So that's a falsehood. They give us a light version of the AI. Like when you call in to customer service, that little robot voice be screening the calls to a very aggravating level, right? Trying to screen the calls, messing up your voice when you say something, and that's a form of that AI. And then when you go to stores, at McDonald's and these different restaurants, you order on the screen, the touch screen pad, whatever. And then also I seen this one restaurant, a little AI robot is a waiter, and I went in there to pick up some food, and the lady put the food on this little robot, and then she punched something on it, and it went from behind the counter over there, went past me, and went all the way to the proper table and delivered that food, and came back without hitting anything, and went right back to his starting spot back behind that counter, and did that multiple times. And that's just the lower level AI robot technology for to cut down on the jobs of the people. But they have weaponized military robots to destroy mankind. So that's another topic, but that's his falsehoods. Verse 15, he made a pit and digged it, and it's fallen into the ditch which he made, because Esau is setting up all of these pits to put mankind in for eternity. He wants to have eternal dominion in his wickedness, and but he's going to fall into it himself. He that rolleth the stone, it shall fall back upon him. Esther 7 and 10. So they hanged Haman. That's an Edomite. It goes back to the tribe of Amalek, the little hats today. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. So Mordecai and the Jews, they were trying to kill the southern kingdom. Then was the king's wrath pacified, and that king is the king of Persia at that time, when we were underneath the Persian captivity. Haman, being the devil, he had slithered his way up to being second in command and another man in another nation's kingdom. That's his strength, being able to talk smoothly and maneuver and get in and get into and to get into to to gain the trust of people like he did the Native American Indians, right? And Latinos and Hispanics, so called. And then when they least expect it, then he want to strike. Let's see, where were we at? Psalm 7 and 15. He made a pit and digged it, and it's fallen into the ditch which he made. Because that same way Haman, these stories is written for us to see and understand, and comfort us, knowing that he won't fulfill his enterprise. That is, he's going to be taken in the same devices that he's made. Verse 16. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. So that pate goes into the crown of his head. So it's gonna come precisely, strategically, right there on this in the crown, because that's the right beneath that. That's where we our brain is at, the chief area. So head, crown of head, top of the head, the scalp. So verse 17. I will praise the Lord Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, according to his righteousness, because it's going to be a righteous thing to destroy these Edomites with the wickedness that they have created to destroy mankind, and chiefly the Israelites, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native American Indians, so-called. And will sing praise to the name of the Lord Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Most High. So we know that we will see the end of Babylon according to the prophecies that's coming to pass right now. So with that being said, I hope this video was edifying. The waters of the Rachak Wadash by Hashem Yahweh Shai for another video. To the next video I say, Shalom.